There is more to the economic success of Germany than meets the eye. In spite of some ingrained problems, Germany coped with the financial crisis better than any European country, and not only because customers outside Europe were still massively buying its exports. When you search for the reasons for Germany's economic strength, you might think of the big names of her industrial history like Bayer or Porsche, ThyssenKrupp or Siemens. You might think of regions like the Ruhr, Hamburg, Rhine-Main, Frankfurt or Stuttgart, but we found the answers somewhere else.
Doch wir sind bei unserer Suche woanders fündig geworden.
The city of Fulda, population say 100,000, lies in the heart of Germany, northeast of Frankfurt, and not near the country's outside borders. It's not a control center by any stretch, but it harbors economic champions, the same as many German towns, small or medium-sized companies, SMEs, that are world leaders in what they do. Hubtex had its roots in the textile industry, but when those customers left Germany, it adapted and thrived. Its managing director describes how.
Wir sind dem Trend gefolgt, indem wir gesagt haben, die Fahrzeuge.
We went with the flow. We said, our vehicles can be modified so that they can be used in other industries. These are narrow aisle side loaders with a four-way carriage. We developed ones for the steel industry that can transport tubes or aluminium profiles, or side loaders for the lumber industry to transport large wooden panels.
Fahrzeuge zum Handling und Transport von großen Holzplatten, beispielsweise im Holzhandel und in der Holzindustrie.
Hubtex's revenue in 2012 was 92 million euros. Two-thirds of the material handling equipment its workforce of 480 people make is for export. They don't compete with the big multinational forklift producers such as Toyota. They custom build in numbers the giants find too small for a range of clients, including aircraft and furniture makers. A senior economist at the Cologne Institute of Economic Research tells us SMEs like Hubtex are the backbone of Germany's economy. He explains these companies are commonly found away from the big metropolitan regions or economic centers.
If you are a very successful company in a rather remote region, then your company is a beacon for that region. Many highly talented people regard these companies as good employers, and that is why, very often, good companies in rather remote regions have the advantage. They attract good employees.
Eher abgelegene Regionen haben Vorteile, die günstigen, die guten Mitarbeiter in diesen Regionen zu bekommen.
Highly skilled workers are one of the keys to Germany's economic success, and part of that is how they get that way. Theory is taught in vocational schools, practice comes through apprenticeship. Companies offer training.
It used to be that we, the companies, chose the people to whom apprenticeships were offered. But nowadays it's rather as if they choose a company. That's why we offer a lot of training, to be competitive, to attract apprentices and to train really good people for our company.
Both company and employees benefit. This symbiosis of colleges and companies is a major advantage for Germany's international competitiveness. Some companies even go further. Hubtex gives employees time off to attend university. We speak with one who's both an industrial mechanic and an engineering student at Mittelhessen University of Applied Sciences in Gießen.
You get to know some aspects at university, but you won't have a clue what they are useful for later in life, so you'll wonder why you're studying that. Here, you can actually test the knowledge and see its practical application.
A country's economic success also depends on good transport, but experts say Germany's motorways and bridges are crumbling and need 7 billion euros just to fix them up, and more for desperately needed new infrastructure. Some say Germany's recent past saw spending cut on the wrong things.
Politicians were not brave enough to look at some social spending. Public spending drifted away from investment to consumption. There is a price to pay for that now. Capital investment has fallen far behind what's needed. That's partly due to special factors. In the 1990s, we had to rebuild Eastern Germany at a high cost. With that, hand in hand, came cuts in capital investment in Western Germany.
A motorway south of Fulda is one of Germany's largest infrastructure projects, price tag 214 million euros. They had to shift the railway line, the existing road, and a creek. They'd like 4 sets of tracks here, but there isn't even the money to plan that, let alone do it. Fulda has one of the lowest unemployment rates in Germany, 3.7%. Although that is good, cash can be in short supply. This pushes for creative solutions to get things done, both here and in places like Fulda. The local utility company literally had to pay a high price for an ambitious venture to replace nuclear energy with renewable alternatives. Its profits deteriorated considerably. Germany's cities don't have enough money for their tasks. For example, to redevelop its main square, Fulda relied on a public-private partnership with the Dutch company Q-Park running the underground car park and the department store Karstadt. One of the big names in Germany's economic history, Karstadt is another company in economic difficulty. It filed for creditor protection a few years ago, and yet Karstadt occupies a building designed by one of post-war Germany's most famous architects. As is true of many aspects of Germany's economy, appearances are deceptive.